The Senate will come to order. The senators will take their seats. Those persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor will retire to the gallery. Good morning, senators. Good morning, guests. The senators and those in attendance, if you are able, please rise. We will be led in prayer this morning by the Reverend Teresa K. McRoberts of Jubilee Ministries in Enrico. Following the prayer, everyone will please remain standing, and we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America by our Senate page, Elizabeth Donahue of Essex.
With gratitude for this day, let us pray. Spirit of life, Lord of all people, God of many names, we come today acknowledging that the world, the country, and the Commonwealth exist beyond our own experience and are subject to the influence of imperfect humans. As we recognize the reality and the limits of our own experience and of the brokenness of the human experience in general, we open ourselves to be guided by a power that transcends us. Pour out this power, the power of your Spirit, on this gathering of elected leaders of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Show them again their place in leading others to systems that will be characterized by peace and justice. Rekindle in them the desire to lead as agents of hope and freedom, rooted in divine purpose. Thank you for each senator, for those who are present and for those whose work is elsewhere today. Thank you for Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears and the leadership she brings. As these legislators and all the staff and volunteers who tend to the details today and throughout the session conduct business, we pray that their work would be thoughtful, wise, and productive. Bless and consecrate the discourse, reports, and actions taken here today so that your compassion and your will for the common good is evident even in the midst of our messy world. Where we see the devastating effects of injustice, exploitation, bigotry, greed, failing systems, and loss of all sorts, may these leaders labor in your strength to promote human dignity and to offer their knowledge, skills, and insight to nurture life-sustaining community. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The clerk will call the roll. All those present, please vote aye. The clerk will close the roll.
You have a quorum, Madam President. Senate Journal for Friday, February 23rd, 2024.
The senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas, moves that the reading of the journal be waived. All those in favor of waiving the reading of the journal will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 1.
Ayes 39, noes 1. The reading of the journal is waived. The clerk will report any communications from the House of Delegates. Chair recognizes the senator from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Sorrevell.
Good afternoon, Madam President.
Good afternoon, sir.
I would move to waive reading of the House communication.
The question is, shall the communication from the House be waived? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 3.
Ayes 37, noes 3. The reading of the communication from the House of Delegates is waived. Chair recognizes the senator from Rockingham. For what purpose does the senator rise?
Madam President, I rise for a motion. I move that we extend the privileges of the floor to a certain distinguished person, my former seatmate, the former senator from Fauquier County, Jill Vogel.
The question is, shall the privileges of the floor be extended to a former senator, a distinguished guest? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The privileges of the floor are granted to our former senator.
She's not out there.
Is she in the gallery?
The clerk will report any communications from the governor.
We do not have any, Madam President.
Chair recognizes the senator again from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Saraville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to suspend the rules and grant the privileges of the floor to a distinguished person.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the privileges of the floor granted to a distinguished person? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, noes 0. The rules are suspended. The privileges of the floor are granted. Chair recognizes Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth, for the purpose of presenting the distinguished guests. Come on in close. Everybody come on in. Come on in close.
Madam President, it is an honor for me to stand here with Mrs. Susan Wynn and members of her family so that we can express to her the great gratitude and esteem of the Senate. We're also joined in the gallery by some very distinguished Virginians who were friends of colleagues of W. Wynn's and partners in his work. And Madam President, I will hope that you ask them to stand during this presentation.
Please rise.
Madam President, you know those of us who are from Hampton Roads felt a special closeness to W. Wynn. We watched him bring folks together in our region. We welcomed his advice. We joined in his work, and we got a lot done. He left a lasting positive imprint on our Hampton Roads economy, on our Hampton Roads colleges and schools, on our Hampton Roads businesses and workforce, and most importantly, on our Hampton Roads young people. But let's face it, he belonged to more than just Hampton Roads. He was truly dedicated to all parts of Virginia and to all Virginians. Sometimes you wonder how he did it all. But here's the truth. No one was ever less retired in retirement than W. Wynn. As long as I have been here, Debbie and the Virginia Business Higher Education Council have been advocating for our higher education institutions, and not just some of them, but for all of them. Our community colleges, our HBCUs, our public and private four-year universities, all of them. They have challenged us to invest in higher education like the future of our young people depends on it, because it does. Our economy also depends on it, and that is something Debbie Wynn would often remind us of. A strong educational system and a strong economy go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. Today, Virginia has the top-ranked higher education system in the country, and when CNBC ranks us as a top state for business, the main thing they cite is our stronger education system. We can thank Debbie Wynn and other leaders from the community for these high rankings, because they walked the walk. They volunteered their times to partner with our college presidents and to work with legislators and governors of both parties to get the job done. Finally, I want to mention one more thing the resolution talked about, and that is Go Virginia. For those who are new around here, what you need to know is that while a lot of people have helped make Go Virginia the successful program that it is, there would have been no Go Virginia without Debbie Wynn. He developed the concept. He went around this state bringing folks together behind him. He advocated for the legislation, and once it was passed, he chaired the Go Virginia State Board and got the program off the ground in a hurry. Today, just 6 years later, nearly 300 regional projects have been launched across the state, and the program has leveraged $100 million in federal dollars and $130 million in non-state matches. JLOC recently issued a strong, positive report about the program. And as a new member of the state board, I am looking forward to keeping this momentum going. Madam President, every once in a while, someone special comes along and truly makes a difference. Every once in a while, someone comes along who manages to stir up in us that Lincoln called the better angels of our nature. Every once in a while, someone comes along whose life shows that it's truly better to give than to receive. Debbie Wynn was that kind of person, and I joined with his family and friends and the members of this body in celebrating his exceptionally fruitful life. And with that, Madam Clerk, if you would please read the resolution.
Senate Resolution Number 64, celebrating the life of John Oliver Wynn. Whereas John Oliver Wynn, the former president and chief executive officer of Landmark Communications Incorporated, who had a profound impact on the Commonwealth through his innovative leadership on economic development, education, regional collaboration, governmental performance, and civic and cultural initiatives, died on October 26, 2023. And whereas John W. Wynn was born in Norfolk on July 6, 1945, and graduated from Norfolk Academy, where he was a captain of the tennis, football, and basketball teams. He earned a bachelor's degree from Princeton University. Then, after interrupting his legal studies for active duty in the United States Army Reserve, earned his law degree from the University of Virginia. He was also later awarded an honorary doctorate of humane letters by Old Dominion University. And whereas after completing his legal studies, W. Wynn joined the Wilcox Savage law firm, then moved to Landmark Communications, a Norfolk-based media company, to work as an attorney on significant litigation matters. He rose to the company's executive ranks, where he was mentored by Frank Batten Sr., and after a fruitful career, he retired as the company's president and chief executive officer in 2001, while continuing to serve on its board of directors. And whereas W. Wynn's productive tenure at Landmark Communications included his primary role in launching the Weather Channel cable network, for which he received numerous national awards, including the Governor's Award from the National Academy of Cable Programming, for his leadership and insight in making the Weather Channel the preeminent provider of weather information, and one of the most innovative and popular networks on television, as well as induction into the Cable Hall of Fame. During this time, he also served in leadership roles in the National Cable Television Association and National Satellite Programmers Group. And whereas W. gave back generously to each of the educational institutions that helped prepare him for success in business and in life, serving as a trustee and president of the Board of Trustees of Norfolk Academy, as a charter trustee and executive committee member of the Board of Trustees and national chair of giving campaigns for Princeton University, and as a member and rector of the Board of Visitors of the University of Virginia and chair of the University of Virginia Investment Management Company. And whereas perceiving a crucial connection between education and economic development in the Commonwealth, W. Wynn dedicated his time, talent, and experience to service on the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia, the Virginia Business Higher Education Council, the Council on Virginia's Future, and the Virginia Growth and Opportunity Board and Foundation, selflessly devoting hundreds of his retirement hours to travel throughout the Commonwealth for meetings and presentations. And whereas under W. Wynn's leadership, the Council on Virginia's Future examined the best practices from other states and the private sector to enhance the efficiency, effectiveness, and accountability of state government, and made extensive and detailed recommendations on actions to improve the quality of life for Virginians through initiatives in economic and talent development, human services, healthcare, and government reform. And whereas the work of the Council on Virginia's Future under W. Wynn's direction documented the steps needed to make Virginia the national leader in educational attainment, laying the intellectual foundation for VBHEC's degrees initiative to add 10,000 bachelor's and associate degrees by 2025, with a focus on science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and healthcare. As a member of Governor Robert McDonnell's Higher Education Commission and business advocate, he also helped weave that initiative into the Commonwealth's law and policy through passage of the landmark Higher Education Opportunity Act of 2011, known as the Top Jobs Act. And whereas reflecting his conviction that the economic growth of the Commonwealth depended on strong regional cooperation, W. Wynn galvanized the state's senior business community to develop and promote the collaborative regional program known as Go Virginia, which aimed to bring business, education, and government leaders together in each region for a cooperative effort on business, recruitment, and retention, job creation, entrepreneurship, and workforce development. And whereas after leading efforts to secure passage of the Go Virginia legislation, W. Wynn served as founding chair of the Virginia Growth and Opportunity Board. He then took the reins of the business-led Go Virginia Foundation, spearheading the Talent Pathways initiative designed to meet the workforce needs of the highest growth industry clusters in each region and to help keep young people in Virginia for post-graduation employment. And whereas the Joint Legislative Audit and Review Commission report on the Go Virginia program in 2023 found that it was fulfilling its intended purpose by facilitating greater collaboration among key stakeholders within the state's regional economies, and offered suggestions for expanding the program's impact by accelerating its grant awards. And whereas W. Wynn enhanced the well-being of people in his home region of Hampton Roads and throughout the Commonwealth by his exceedingly generous philanthropic activity and by his personal involvement in numerous worthy civic and cultural causes. And whereas W. Wynn served as chair of the Virginia Business Council, co-chair of the Hampton Roads Business Partnership, chair of the Hampton Roads Community Foundation, He was a founding member of the Hampton Roads Business Roundtable, served on the governing boards of the Eastern Virginia Medical School Foundation and the Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters, and provided his leadership to Junior Achievement at Tidewater, the United Way of Southampton Roads, Capital Campaign, and the board of the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation. And whereas the faith and family were of primary importance to D.B. Wynn, he was devoted to his wife of more than 50 years, Susan, and to his sons, John and Bradford, and their families. And whereas the loss of D.B. Wynn's son, Lee, to leukemia in 1984 at age 6 profoundly fortified his faith. He was a lifelong member of Galilee Episcopal Church in Virginia Beach, where he served on the vestry and in other key roles. And he sought to live out his faith by devoting himself tirelessly to serving others in his community and the Commonwealth. And whereas D.B. Wynn improved the lives of countless young Virginians of all backgrounds, regions, and circumstances by expanding their educational and employment opportunities, and he will be fondly remembered and greatly missed by his family and friends, as well as colleagues throughout Virginia. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Senate of Virginia hereby note with great sadness the loss of John Oliver Wynn, a former executive of Landmark Communications and transformational servant leader in Hampton Roads and throughout the Commonwealth. And be it resolved further that the clerk of the Senate prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to the family of John Oliver Wynn as an expression of the Senate of Virginia's respect for his memory.
Please join me in the well of the Senate. This is my Senate page. She's going to hold this for me while I say my few words. Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator, for bringing this great family to us so we can honor a life well lived indeed. And so I just want to say that I know that the resolution poignantly refers to Mr. Wynn's faith, to how important it was to him and how it shaped his life and work, and how the loss of a child, especially at such a young age, can truly dictate the direction forward of the parents and other loved ones. And so in thinking about all the good things that this gentleman accomplished, we had to write it in small font just to get it on the page. And so because of his faith and the shaping of his work, we know that our Lord talked about using the gifts to help others. And he, of course, used a variety of symbols or metaphors to make the point, including a coin, a lantern, and a city on a hill. So D.B. Wynn did not bury his coin, his talent. Instead, he invested his gifts and produced a great return for his church, his community, and his Commonwealth. And in recalling the Sermon on the Mount, in which the Lord says that you don't hide your lantern, your light, under a basket. Well, Mr. Wynn certainly did not hide his light. He let it so shine that others might see his good works and give thanks and glory to the Father. And finally, in that same sermon, our Savior talked about the city on a hill, the shining city on a hill, which our President Reagan loved to say. Well, W. Wynn believed that his beloved Commonwealth of Virginia was indeed a city on a hill, and he worked to make it shine just a little brighter for all of us. I think Mr. Wynn succeeded more than he could ever have imagined. We thank God for his life, and we thank you all for sharing him with us, because this is not accomplished without sacrifice. Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator, again, for presenting us with this great man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Senator, you want to come in the middle?
I want to stand next to you while I take the picture.
And I'll just stand here. Are we good? Senator Deeds. Yes? Is that what you said? Reeves. At ease. No, not yet. Thank you. And now the Senate will be at ease. Thank you.
Now everybody can come.
Chair again recognizes the senator from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Sorovel.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to suspend the rules and grant the privileges of the floor to a distinguished person.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the privileges of the floor granted to a distinguished person? All those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The rules are suspended. The privileges of the floor are granted. The chair recognizes the senator from Chesterfield, Senator Hashmi, for the purpose of presenting the distinguished guests.
Thank you, Madam President, and I invite the senator from Hampton to join me here. Madam President and members of the Senate, I'm so incredibly honored to introduce Peter Blake, who recently retired from our State Council of Higher Education for Virginia. And I think it's fair to say that very few people in the Commonwealth have had the kind of impact on education, and especially higher education, that Peter has had. Peter has faithfully served Virginia and its people for close to 4 decades. In addition to 13 years as director of SHEV, he has served as Deputy Secretary and then Secretary of Education. He has also served as Vice Chancellor for the Virginia Community College System. As a faculty member myself, I followed Peter's leadership with considerable admiration and respect for his insights and his efforts, and recently I have been delighted to work with him for the past 4 years through the Senate Education Committee. It's a testament to Peter's depth and length of service that we are joined in the gallery by well over 25 past and present colleagues of Peter, and we're also joined on the Senate floor by Peter's wife, Mary Blanchard, and 2 of his 3 sons, Robert Blake and Lloyd Blake. I ask that Madam Clerk read the resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 63, commending Peter A. Blake. Whereas Peter A. Blake, the recently retired director of the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia, served the Commonwealth for 38 years in various capacities in the executive and legislative branches, including as Secretary and Deputy Secretary of Education, as staff to the House Committee on Appropriations, and as Vice Chancellor at the Virginia Community College System. And whereas Peter Blake provided outstanding service to the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia, SHEV, throughout his tenure and strong leadership of the agency since 2011, and whereas Peter Blake forged strong relationships with and unwavering responsiveness to the administration of 10 governors of the Commonwealth and members of the General Assembly for 39 sessions. And whereas Peter Blake brought unparalleled excellence and integrity to his work on behalf of SHEV to develop innovative statewide post-secondary policies and to manage his statewide planning, academic, budgetary, consumer protection, and student service functions. And whereas Peter Blake earned the respect of SHEV members, executive and legislative staff, institutional chief executive officers, and his agency colleagues for his vision, knowledge, compassion, steadfast work ethic, and experience. And whereas Peter Blake worked tirelessly for almost 4 decades to bring together constituencies from across the Commonwealth to promote and improve higher education. And whereas Peter Blake was recognized by his national peers in 2022 with the Exceptional Leader Award from the State Higher Education Executive Officers Association, and whereas Peter Blake left an indelible legacy not only at his agency but on all of Virginia higher education to the benefit of students, their families, and all citizens of the Commonwealth for generations to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate, the House of Delegates concurring, that the General Assembly hereby commend Peter A. Blake for his exceptional service to the Commonwealth, and be it resolved further that the clerk of the Senate prepare a copy of this resolution for presentation to Peter A. Blake as an expression of the General Assembly's admiration for his dedication and service.
Please join me in the well of the Senate. The mic. Before I make this presentation, I have Jada assisting me again. I'd like Senator Locke, the senator from Hampton, to say a few words.
I just want to recognize...
Wait, Senator, let's get you a mic.
Okay.
Do you have the mic?
I can get this one right here.
Ah, there we are. We know how to make do.
I just want to recognize Peter for all of his good work at the State Council of Higher Education in Virginia, and he and I have worked very closely together in my role of chairing subcommittees on higher education. And we also work closely together with the Southern Regional Education Board in many capacities, and I've always been able to call upon you whenever I needed information relative to higher education, both for the community college system and for all of our higher education institutions in the Commonwealth. And you've always been there to provide that information, and it's always good advice for our higher education institutions. And I want to thank you for that, and thank you for your service to the Commonwealth.
Thank you, Senator. And so as I look at this wonderful Senate resolution for you, and in reading it, I just see a life of service. It says you served our Commonwealth for 38 years, that you forged strong relationships and unwavered responsiveness to the administration of 10 governors, and 39 General Assembly sessions. Your hair should be a lot grayer. But you brought unparalleled excellence and integrity. You earned the respect of. You worked tirelessly. You were recognized by your national peers. Indeed, sir, you have served your Commonwealth well. And we're trying to figure, are you going to come back, and maybe you've made a mistake? But thank you so very much for all you have done. And family, thank you. We know that there are some things that he might have missed, but you've forgiven him. Sons, yes? And thank you very much. Thank you for all you have done for us. And thank you, Senator, for bringing this to our attention. Thank you, Senator Locke. And senators, let us give him the warm welcome. We're not at ease just yet. If we could just get the picture taken, and then we'll be at ease. Thank you, sir. Senator. Thank you. And senators, if you can. Thank you. The Senate shall be at ease. The Senate will come to order. Chair recognizes the senator from Eastern Fairfax County, Senator Surville.
Madam President, we in the morning hour?
Yes, sir.
Great. I rise for an announcement then.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to get everybody up to date on where we stand on the judge selection process so everybody can plan accordingly. Under the joint procedure resolution we adopted at the beginning of session, we were supposed to have a judicial election on February the 29th, Thursday. We're not going to do that. You're going to see a motion in a little while to carry that over to March the 1st. I'm sorry, March the 6th. But in order to get this done, the chairman of the House Courts Committee and myself have agreed that we're going to have our joint meeting to publicly interview consensus judicial candidates on Friday, March the 1st. So there's two reasons that's important. Number one, if you're on the Senate Courts Committee, you need to plan on being in the Courts Committee after we adjourn on Friday. Number two, if you have any outstanding judgeships in your circuit, you need to figure your conflicts out and get those names in probably by a day or two before that, because Ms. Hurd needs to run those people through their background checks and through the state bar check in order to make sure that they're eligible to be a judge. But the interviews are going to be on Friday, March the 1st. We're then going to certify the judges in the Senate Courts Committee meeting on Monday, March the 4th. And we're going to have the election on Wednesday, March the 6th. So I just want to make sure everybody knew those deadlines. March the 1st is sort of the drop dead date. It's probably before that, actually, probably more like February 28th. Which is tomorrow, maybe the 29th. If you want to make sure your judges get vetted in time, you might want to get names to Shannon Hurd ahead of time. Maybe she can pre-vet them if you're still fighting about them. But we got to have the public meeting on March the 1st. So make sure everybody get your judges done. We need to get it done.
Chair calls on Senator Van Valkenburg, the junior senator from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I rise for an introduction.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't know if she's here anymore, but Madam President, members of the body, Reverend Teresa McRoberts gave us our prayer this morning, and she is here, is the founder and executive director of Jubilee Ministries, which is dedicated to teaching about the Christian life, promoting community conversation around difficult topics, and empowering people to become better faith leaders. Before founding Jubilee Ministries, Reverend McRoberts served as a pastor at 3 churches in Richmond over a period of 10 years. She received her Master's of Divinity degree from Union Presbyterian Seminary and her undergraduate degree from Duke. In between, she earned a law degree and practiced law before hearing and responding to God's call to professional ministry. Reverend McRoberts preaches, teaches, consults, counsels, officiates weddings and funerals, and is intentionally present with people in times of trauma or transition as she promotes renewal and reconciliation among people and between people and God. And so I hope we would give her a warm Senate welcome.
Reverend Roberts, thank you so very much for coming and for your prayer. And you are also an attorney. And so we have the law, the moral code, and we have the law, the civil code. And we're so glad that you are able to distinguish the two and meld the two for the betterment of the people that you serve. Senators, let us give Reverend Roberts the welcome of her Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Hackworth, the senator from Tazewell.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of 2 introductions.
The senator has the floor.
So in the gallery, we have visiting us today the 77th Model General Assembly officers that are with us, if they could stand. And the Model General Assembly started in 1948 and has allowed thousands of students to visit the capital of Virginia and model the legislative and executive processes. This year, MGA will be here from April the 11th through the 13th, where students would ascend to their capital and complete the process once again. In the gallery today, the program is represented by their 6 statewide elected student officers. This year, our youth Speaker of the House is Natalie Dew, which hails from Bluefield, Virginia, which is in my district. And we also have students from Graham High, Richlands High, and Radford High representing the 5th District at this year's program in Richmond. Madam President, I would ask that you would give them the warm welcome of the Senate.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for wanting to be part of the Model General Assembly. Indeed, we, as you know, are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. But if we don't get involved, then what do we have? We have not what the president said, our great president, of the people, by the people, and for the people. So it rests with you, our future. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Hackworth.
Thank you, Madam President. Also in the gallery, we have a group that has traveled all the way from Southwest Virginia, and these are dear friends of mine, actually my pastor and his wife. I think he is checking on the tardiness of his parishioners for the last couple months. But we also have his son, Isaac, that is here, that he is a homeschooler, and he is watching his government at work. And we also have a principal of the Keene Mountain Christian Academy, Nathan Webb, and his wife, Jamie, and their son, Graydon Webb. So, Madam President, I would ask that you would help me and give them the warm welcome of the Senate. Thank you.
So we have the principal of the school, but I don't think you're playing hooky. I think you can say, no, I was doing really good things on your behalf. Thank you for coming, and thank you for being a part of, well, of what we do here, because we cannot do it without you, and we need to hear your voices. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Williams-Graves, the senator from Norfolk.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today in the gallery, we have the Women's and Gender Studies students from my alma mater, Old Dominion University, and I would ask that they stand. It is amazing to see the next generation of students advocating for gender equity and reproductive justice here in Virginia. They are walking the halls of the General Assembly building, meeting with legislators, and advocating again for equity and reproductive justice. Please join me in giving them the warm welcome of their Senate.
Thank you for coming. Women and Gender Studies. Thank you for being a part of that and for wanting to see more of us in office and advocating on issues that are important to you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Pekarsky, the senator from Western Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for the purposes of 3 introductions this morning.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Today in the gallery, we're joined by representatives from the Coalition of Asian Pacific Americans of Virginia. And I'd ask them to stand, please. CAPAVA is a nonprofit Pan-Asian policy organization created in 2003 to advocate for grassroots issues of Asian Pacific Americans in Virginia. CAPAVA is supported by volunteers who have strong backgrounds in policy who seek to bring Virginia APA issues to the attention of state and local policymakers and provide vital information on key resources to Virginia's APA communities. CAPAVA hosts APA-targeted Virginia forums and collaborative projects to bring the concerns and issues of these communities before state and local policymakers while raising the visibility of APA community in the Commonwealth. And I hope you join me in welcoming them.
Indeed. Good afternoon to you, and thank you for coming and Hopefully you've already talked to your senators and delegates about what matters to you, and of course, what matters to you matters to all of us. We want to hear from you. Thank you for being part of the legislative process. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Senator Pekarsky.
Thank you, Madam President. Today we're also joined by members of Make Us Visible Virginia, and this group is a volunteer-driven nonprofit coalition of parents, students, educators, and community members dedicated to amplifying the voices of marginalized communities and fostering an environment of inclusivity within our schools. Over the past 2 legislative sessions, Make Us Visible Virginia has supported House bills aimed at ensuring the incorporation of quality content training and resources on Asian American history in K-12 public schools. Throughout their advocacy, Make Us Visible Virginia empowers communities to recognize the importance of including diverse histories as a means to foster stronger cross-cultural connections, understanding among all of Virginia's children. I hope you join me in welcoming them.
The same people. You know what's wonderful about that? It's that you care, that you lend yourself to so many different types of activities and sacrifices, and that is so wonderful to see. And your group, the name is Make Us Visible indeed. We cannot be invisible. We must participate. In this wonderful country we must avail ourselves of every opportunity to make our voices heard, and that's what you're doing. And you're contributing to the fabric of not just Virginia, but our great nation. Thank you. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome again of their Senate. Senator Pekarsky.
Thank you, Madam President. And my last introduction is for the Virginia Asian American Store Owners Association. This was founded in 2009, and the association works to support Asian American business owners by performing periodic reviews of the marketplace to improve offerings, providing venues to enhance awareness of business opportunities, regulations, and legislation, and offer opportunities for retailers as well as suppliers to come together and strengthen business relationships by continually striving to develop benefits for their members through preferred vendors. I hope you join me in giving them a warm Senate welcome.
I'm remembering when I met a gentleman in one of actually it was through MOVE and the Chamber of Commerce there, and hearing that this one gentleman, of all the illustrious members, his story, I think, just spoke to me because he came with nothing to America, and he ended up with 50 gas stations. And I say to myself, only in America is that possible. So thank you for being a part of our economic fabric, as well as all the other wonderful things that you have continually done. Senators, let us give them the warm welcome of their Senate. Chair recognizes Senator Salim, the senator from Central Fairfax County.
Madam President, I rise for an introduction.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. In the gallery, we have a friend of mine named Rose Chu, if she could stand up. She's been a member of the Democratic activities over the decades, for that matter, and can always be found to be engaging the Asian American communities at local cultural events and festivals, as well as encouraging the AAPI community to be active in voting. She's a healthcare analyst and a member of the Fairfax County Healthcare Advisory Board, as well as a volunteer AARP tax counselor and certified application counselor for marketplace insurance and Medicaid. I wish the Senate give her a warm welcome.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you. Thank you for what you're doing locally, especially because we hear that you're part of the healthcare industry, healthcare environment. We need more nurses, we need more doulas, we need more pharmacists, we need more doctors, we just need more. And hopefully we can help to engage more young people to enter these wonderful professions. Thank you for what you do. Senators, let us give her the warm welcome of her Senate. Is there any other business to come before the Senate for the morning hour? Hearing none, the clerk will call the calendar.
Senate calendar for Monday, February 26, 2024. Unfinished business, House Bill 1269. The House has rejected the Senate substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Favola, the senator from Arlington.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that we insist on our substitute and request a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate insist on its substitute and respectfully request a committee of conference on the bill? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate insists on its substitute and requests a committee of conference on the bill.
Unfinished business, Senate. Senate Bill 15 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Favola.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, with the recommendation that we reject the House substitute, I move that the substitute be agreed to. And speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. What the House substitute does is it expands well beyond what our underlying legislation did. The underlying legislation, again, just to remind the body, protected women who were coming to Virginia for an abortion, perhaps from a state that banned abortions, and it also protected providers who provided the abortion care from extradition. That was the bill that passed the Senate. The House added information about the Consumer Protection Act and talked about suppliers who may be supplying apps, and also made a statement that it is unlawful if information collected by this supplier was disclosed or sold without the consent of the consumer. Those are provisions that might be useful. They are beyond what I believe our bill entailed when it left the Senate. So I renew my motion again that with the recommendation that we reject the substitute, I move the substitute be agreed to.
With the recommendation that the House substitute be rejected, the question is, shall it be accepted? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The House substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 399 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator McDougal, the senator from Hanover.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, with a recommendation that the that the substitute be rejected, I move that the Senate accept the substitute. And speaking to that,
the senator may continue.
Madam President, the Senate took a very cautious approach on the language and referenced the Constitution. The House went with a different term on the language and made it a little more amorphous, and we want to stick to our Senate position.
With the recommendation that it be rejected, the question is, shall the House substitute be agreed to? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? With the recommendation that it be rejected, does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The House substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 484 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Aird, the senator from Petersburg.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I move that we concur with the House substitute, and I'd like to speak to that motion.
Senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. The House substitute makes a very simple change in just removing the fund that would have been established as part of this legislation. Nothing else other than that changes, and so I'd hope we would, again, move this forward.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate concurs with the House substitute.
Senate Bill 585 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Dees, the senator from Charlottesville.
Madam President, with a recommendation that it be rejected, I move that the House substitute be agreed to, and I'd like to speak to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this bill is the capital outlay plan for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the Senate's taken a more prudent approach in terms of we expect buildings to go forward when the plan has been put forth, when projects have been through the planning project. The House has taken a more aggressive approach, and we need to work this out in conference. So again, I ask you to reject their substitute.
With the recommendation that the House substitute be rejected, the question is, shall it be agreed to? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The House substitute is rejected.
Senate Bill 627 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Madam President, with the recommendation that the House substitute be rejected, I move that the substitute be agreed to.
With an explanation, Senator?
Yes, I'm looking for my notes. Madam President, could that go by for momentarily?
Without objection, Senate Bill 627 goes by momentarily, temporarily.
Senate Bill 646 has passed the House with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator French, the senator from Shenandoah.
Madam President, I ask for Senate Bill 646 to go by for the day.
Without objection, Senate Bill 646 is by for the day.
Senate Bill 116 has passed the House with a substitute and requests a committee of conference. Insist on its substitute and request a committee of conference.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. I move that the Senate accede to the House request for a committee of conference.
The question is, shall the Senate accede to the request for a committee of conference on Senate Bill 116? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The Senate accedes to the request for the committee of conference.
Conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the chair of Finance and Appropriations, Senator Lucas, or Senators Lucas, Locke, and Reeves. Senate Bill 194. The House has insisted on its substitute and requests a committee of conference.
Senator Van Valkenburg, the junior senator from Enrico.
Madam President, I move that the Senate accede to the House request for a committee of conference on the bill.
The question is, shall the Senate accede to the request for a committee of conference on Senate Bill 194? All those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Conferees on the part of the Senate is named by the Chair of Finance and Appropriations. Senator Lucas are Senator Van Valkenburg, Angela Williams Graves, and Stewart. Returning to page 3, Senate Bill 627 has passed the House with a substitute.
Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. With the recommendation that the House substitute be rejected, I move that the substitute be agreed to, and speaker to that motion.
Senator may continue.
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, what the bill does, it directs the Department of Education and Virginia Community Colleges and the State Council of Higher Education for Virginia to develop a framework to support structured opportunities for quality high school students in the Commonwealth. And again, Madam President, I move that the substitute be rejected.
The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House substitute with the recommendation that it be rejected? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their votes? The clerk will close the roll.
0, noes 40.
Ayes 0, noes 40. The House substitute is rejected.
We are awaiting House action on the remaining bills in that section. On page 7, uncontested calendar, House bills on third reading.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move that all the House bills on third reading on the uncontested calendar, pages 7 through 27, House Bill 105 through House Bill 1473, be advanced to their final passage in the block after the adoption of any amendments thereto. Any senator desiring to remove the bill from the block shall do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill.
The question is, shall House bills on the uncontested calendar, third reading, pages 7 through 27, House Bills 105 through 1473, be placed upon their final passage in the block with any amendments thereto, with the understanding that any senator desire a bill to be removed from the block will do so after the clerk has read the number of the bill. Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The bills are before us in the block. The clerk will now read the number of the bills.
House Bill 105, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 156, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 163, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 253, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with an amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the amendment be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to.
House Bill 255, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 313, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with an amendment.
Again, Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendment be agreed to.
Question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to.
House Bill 329, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 349, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 350, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 358, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 434, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 452, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
Senator Surreville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the committee substitute be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is accepted.
House Bill 501, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 508, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 514, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 515, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 566, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 572, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 578, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Madam President, can that bill come out of the block?
Without objection, House Bill 578 is out of the block.
House Bill 589, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 592, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 599, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 605, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 634, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 652, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 679, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 699, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 713, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 719, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Madam President,
For what purpose does the senator from Northern Fairfax rise?
may I take HB 719 out of the block and buy for the day, please?
Without objection, House Bill 719 is out of the block. Bye for the day.
House Bill 764, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with an amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the committee amendment.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 777, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 782, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendments.
Chair recognizes again Senator Eben.
I move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 816, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 820, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 933, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 964, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 967, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senior senator from Virginia Beach rise?
Madam President, I rise to have a couple of bills pulled from the block.
The senator may state them.
Madam President, on page 19, House Bill 967. On page 19, House Bill 964. On page 14, House Bill 592, page 14. On page 13, House Bill 978. On page 13, House Bill 572. And on page 8, House Bill 253.
Can he call it the last five? Would he call it the last five?
Would the senator please repeat those?
Happy to, Madam President. On page 8, House Bill 253. On page 13, House Bill 572. On page 13, House Bill 578. On page 14, House Bill 592. On page 19, House Bill 964. On page 19, House Bill 967. Thank you very much.
On page 19, House Bill 986, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1005, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1018, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1022, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with an amendment.
Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
I move the committee amendment.
Question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1035. Okay. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1039, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1067, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1133, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1237, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1241, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendment.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the committee amendment.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to.
House Bill 1242, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1243, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1249, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1256, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1277, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1331, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1369, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1381, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology. House Bill 1388, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1423, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1431, reported from the Committee on Education and Health. House Bill 1435, reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice. House Bill 1473, reported for the Committee on Education and Health.
We've got a slew of bills out of the block, so bear with me as I try to get them right. The question is, shall the House bills in the block pass? That is, all bills except for House Bill 578, 572, both on page 13. House Bill 253 on page 8. House Bill 719 on page 16. House Bill 592 on page 14. House Bills 967, 964, both on page 19. I believe that is all. So, all in favor of the remaining bills in the block passage will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Ayes 40, no 0. The remaining bills in the block pass.
On page 8, House Bill 253.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 253 pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator may say on.
Thank you, Madam President. HB 253 simply ensures that any student that wishes to participate and make a public comment during a school board meeting participate, as all citizens are guaranteed the right to do, that students be allowed to do so. The amendment that was added is that students would also be subject to the same reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions that a school board might impose on any other citizen participation. And that is the bill, and I move again that we pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 38, noes 2.
Ayes 38, noes 2. The bill passes.
On page 13, House Bill 572.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
House Bill 572 provides, regarding manufactured home parks, that a rental agreement with a term of 1 year or more will not be automatically renewed if the tenant notifies the landlord in writing 60 days prior to the expiration date of the tenant's intent not to renew the agreement, and it further permits a tenant not to renew a rental agreement due to a change in terms of the agreement by the landlord if the tenant notifies the landlord of his intent not to renew the rental agreement within 30 days of receiving the notice to the change in terms. Again, I renew my motion. The bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 8.
Ayes 32, noes 8. The bill passes.
On page 13, House Bill 578.
Again, Senator Eben.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion, Madam President.
Senator may continue.
This has to do with Uniform State Building Code violations and fines. It increases from $2,500 to $5,000 the fine amount, and from $5,000 to $10,000 the maximum amount that any person, firm, or corporation shall be fined when convicted of a third and subsequent offense of violating provisions of the building code within 10 years of another offense. The ad also adds penalties for similar violations committed by owners of blighted multifamily properties. Again, I move.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 27, noes 13.
Ayes 27, noes 13. The bill passes.
On page 14, House Bill 592.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 592 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill just simply directs that the Department of Health's emergency regulations that were put into place related to prescription drug price transparencies remain in effect until the final regulations are promulgated, and there is a that this went into effect retroactively beginning January 1st, 2024. It simply states that the emergency regulations will remain in place until as needed. And with that, I move that we pass the bill.
For what purpose does the senator from Prince William rise?
Madam President, I rise for parliamentary inquiry.
The senator may state it.
Madam President, how many votes would it take to pass this bill with the emergency clause?
That would be 4/5, Senator.
And what would be the exact number for that, Madam President?
Yes, sir, that would be 32. The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bill passes.
On page 19, House Bill 964.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield. Senator Hashmi. Senator Hashmi. Senator
Madam President.
Saravel, for what purpose does the senator rise?
I think I'd ask that we take a recess for 5 minutes.
Without objection, the House stands at recess for 5 minutes. Our Senate stands at recess, this esteemed body, for 5 minutes. Madam Clerk.
House Bill 964.
Chair again recognizes Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield. For what purpose does the senator is at ease? Me that I said something that upset Senator Rome. Let it be known, I am not here to upset anyone. I am here to do the job that the people of Virginia have called me to do, and that is to treat everyone with respect and dignity. I myself have at times not been afforded that same respect and dignity. But in this body, and as long as I am president of the Senate, and by the grace of God, I will be treated with respect and dignity, and I will treat everyone else with respect and dignity. I have called people not by their names, but by everyone else's names. Indeed, I have just put the Senate at ease in the name of the House. It is never my intention to make anyone offended, and I hope that others would consider that they would try not to offend me as well. We are all equal under the law. And so I apologize, I apologize, I apologize. And I would hope that everyone would understand there is no intent to offend, but that we will also give each other the ability to forgive each other. I have seen us conduct ourselves in ways that we would not expect of our own children or nieces or nephews. And so I would hope that we take this opportunity to be kind to each other, to be gracious to each other, to be about the people's business. That is what I hope. And I join you in serving the people of this great Commonwealth. I join you in being a citizen of this great country. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Page 19, House Bill 964.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Madam President, I move that we pass HB 964, and speaking briefly to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Madam President, HB 964 would allow that attorneys can serve as executive director of our Board of Medicine, and that is the bill, and I hope that we might pass it. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
House Bill 36, ayes 36, noes 4.
Ayes 36, noes 4. The bill passes.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senior senator from Loudoun rise?
Madam President, having voting on the prevailing side by which we passed HB 592, I ask that we reconsider that vote so a member may cast their vote.
The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 592 be passed be reconsidered? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Hashmi.
Madam President, having previously explained the bill, I move again that HB 592 pass.
The question is, shall House Bill 592 pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
On page 19, House Bill 967.
Senator Eben.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
House Bill 967 in its current form is pretty simple. It just requires that landlords provide a description on the first page of the written rental agreement of any rent and fees to be charged to the tenant in addition to the periodic rent.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, no 16.
Ayes 24, no 16. The bill passes.
Regular calendar House bills on third reading. House Bill 90, candidates for office, conduct of primaries, declaration of candidacy. Reported from the committee on, there's a committee substitute that has been adopted by the Senate.
Chair recognizes Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. We've heard this bill on Friday. It was reconsidered, and before it was reconsidered, we adopted and conformed it to SB 109. And to refresh your memory, this bill just requires a candidate for nomination by a primary to file a written declaration of candidacy, including a statement that his name shall not be printed on the ballots for that office in the succeeding general election if the candidate withdraws from or is defeated in the primary. And Madam President, I renew my motion. The bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 35, noes 5.
Ayes 35, noes 5. The bill passes.
House Bill 126, candidates for office, persons entitled to have name printed on ballot required reports. Reported from the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
Again, Senator Rouse.
Thank you, Madam President. Can this bill be recommitted to the Committee of Privileges and Elections? I'm sorry, I moved to recommit. Thank you, Madam
The
President.
question is, shall the bill, House Bill 126, be recommitted to the Committee on Privileges and Elections? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill is recommitted to the Committee on Privileges and Elections.
House Bill 1130, Unconscious Bias and Cultural Competency Board of Medicine shall require continuing education, etc. Reported from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 1130 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. HB 1130 is identical to SB 35, patroned by Senator Locke, which passed our chamber on a vote of 36-4. And as Madam Clerk shared, this is a bill that focuses on unconscious bias and cultural competency, requiring that certain licensees complete training as part of their CME so that they may renew their licensure. And I move again that HB 1130 pass.
Senator Head, the senator from Botetourt.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking briefly to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. And ladies and gentlemen of the House, and I'll speak predominantly to folks on my side here. You, all but four of you voted for this when it was the Senate bill. This is the bill that is to address a discrepancy in maternal outcomes that is demonstrable. I made a pretty impassioned speech about it for the Senate version of it and got a little tangled up because we were going late on Friday, and I think some folks got maybe confused, or maybe you wanted to change your mind or whatever. We wanted to get that done. This is an important bill. If you ever want to get to a place where we really can be equal, and at the risk of taking a great speech and making it cliched, if you ever want to get to a place where people really, truly are judged, not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, this is a step in the right direction. Please pass the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 32, noes 7.
Ayes 32, no 7. The bill passes.
House Bill 1531, Cruelty to Elephants, Pain-Inflicting Training Tools Prohibited, Civil Penalty. Reported from the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources, and there is one floor amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Stanley, the senator from Franklin.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move that we waive the reading of the floor amendment.
The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready? Voice vote. Running right through it. The question is, shall the reading of the floor amendment be waived? Those in favor of waiving the reading will say aye. Those opposed, no. The reading of the floor amendment is waived. Senator Stanley.
Thank you, Madam President. I now move the floor amendment, and speaking to that.
The senator has the floor.
We should have read the floor amendment because it's one word, which is to take out the word pitchfork in this otherwise very good bill. This bill is to stop abuse of elephants with certain instrumentalities. One of those that was listed was a pitchfork. However, a pitchfork is used for legitimate cause and concern and reasons in the care of elephants. That is, and I can't say the word again, even though Madam Clerk wasn't here, but to bring hay and grass into the elephant for feeding and remove, after he does his business. So what this does is by removing the word pitchfork, everything else is left into the bill. I've been in contact with stakeholders over the weekend. They're fine with this amendment. They had notified the patron. So I believe that this amendment is acceptable to the patron. I haven't talked to her specifically, but otherwise, and now I got a thumbs up. She's good with the amendment. And so now if we just remove the word pitchfork from this otherwise good bill, I think we'll find a lot of support on this side. So, Madam President, for those reasons, I renew my motion that the floor amendment be agreed to.
The question is, shall the floor amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The floor amendment is agreed to. Senator Marsden, the senior senator from Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this bill related to the most long-serving legislated pachyderm here in the Commonwealth be agreed to. What the bill does is require that there's any number of devices that should not be used in the care and training and direction of an elephant here in the Commonwealth with civil penalties. And as amended, I move that the bill pass.
Question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 29, noes 11.
Ayes 29, noes 11. The bill passes.
And Senator Stanley, I saw you on TV. I did.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from Franklin rise?
Madam President, I want to confess that I said P-O-O-P on the floor. And I thought I could get away with it because Madam Clerk wasn't here. Turns out she watches us on TV, so be very careful when she's not up there. That's what I'm, and my apologies, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
House Bill 42. Dentists and dental hygienists added to list of providers who are immune from civil liability, etc. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 42 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. HB 42 is identical to SB 629, which was patroned by Senator Pillion and passed the Senate on a vote of 40-0. It adds the profession of dentist and dental hygienist to those list of providers who are immune from civil liability. And really it is giving an opportunity for us to be able to address mental health issues that our dental community providers may face without facing the challenge of it being reported or follow them in their professional records in the same way that we do now for individuals in other healthcare professions. I renew my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
Senate House Bill 78, search warrants, menstrual health data prohibited definition. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. House Bill 78 is identical with.
For what purpose does the senator?
I move the bill pass and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. House Bill 78 is basically identical to Senate Bill 16 by a senator from Arlington, with the addition of 4 clarificatory words. The bill passed this body, I think, on a 21-19 vote earlier. It's basically the bill that prohibits the issuance of a search warrant for women's menstrual data as contained on a computer network or an app. It might be, for example, on their phone. We've debated this 2 sessions now. I think everybody kind of knows where they stand. I'd hope we could pass the bill once more.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, noes 18.
Ayes 22, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 98, Public secondary schools satisfaction and physical education requirement participation in junior ROTC. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health with an amendment.
Chair recognizes again Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee amendment be agreed to.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The amendments are agreed to. Senator Hashmi.
I now move that HB 98 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill allows school boards to decide whether or not they would like to include the participation in junior ROTC as a fulfillment of physical education requirements for the students. We did in our committee make the language permissive, striking shall and making it may, so that school boards have the discretion in so deciding. I move again that HB 98 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 3.
Ayes 37, noes 3. The bill passes.
House Bill 121. SOL includes severe allergic reaction awareness training. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute pass? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Hashmi.
Madam President, I move that HB 121 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
This bill is related to standards of learning, and it is presenting or proposing that in grades 9 and 10 in our health education courses in the SOL instruction that there be provision of training for severe allergic reaction awareness, and I move again that we pass this bill.
The question is, Chair recognizes Senator Peake, the senator from Lynchburg.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise to speak to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
I just want to explain to the body, folks who were not here in the Senate committee and heard my explanation, they're about to come up about 5 to 6 or 8 or 9 bills from the Education Committee where I was the lone or close to lone vote. And you'll see I have nothing against people with allergies, and I want to save everyone with allergies. I have nothing against people who are homeless or mental health problems, and I want our schools to look out for them. But as you look through these, they're important issues, and they're serious issues. But we are putting that burden on our teacher without extending the school day or giving them any more money to do it or giving them any more positions. And I just feel like these are maybe not unfunded mandates, but they're certainly mandates that require a lot of time, a lot of attention that take from what they're able to do. And so I just these are serious issues, and we care about these issues, but we as a body have to look at what we're putting on our either the teachers, the school boards, or our Board of Education. We continue to do it. There's a whole stream of them coming in, and that's the reason why I voted no, not that I disagree with the issues. Thank you, Madam President.
Chair recognizes Senator Boysko, the senator from Northern Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. Briefly speaking to the bill.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple of years ago, we passed Elijah's Law, which gets EpiPens in the hands of all of the daycare centers. The little boy whose name was Elijah was given a cheese sandwich at his daycare and died because of an anaphylactic reaction. This is an important bill. I understand that we don't want to ask our teachers to do too many more things, but when we can save someone's life because we are educated at how to identify the signs, I think that's worthy of their time, and I hope that everybody will vote yes on this bill.
Senator Durant, the senator from Stafford.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Yeah. Without respect to my colleague who I share those sentiments on having reservations of what we're asking to put on our teachers and Department of Education. I could not agree more as being a mother with a daughter that has these severe allergies. And Madam President, unlike most children, she continues to add, not subtract. And the way that we are able to keep these kids alive and keep them safe is that we ensure that their peers know exactly how they can be poisoned and how easily exposure can kill them. So as someone who has dealt with this for 25 years and know how easily it can happen, I encourage the body that we support this bill. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator Van Valkenburg, the junior senator from Enrico.
Thank you, Madam President. Speaking to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, members of the body, I would just encourage us as we look at some of these bills to differentiate between what they're doing. So this bill is about student curriculum. It's not actually about teachers at all. It's about teaching. It's about student curriculum in 9th and 10th grade. We're going to see a bunch of teacher training bills. We're going to see some school curriculum bills. They're all in a different posture. I share Senator Peake's anxiety because y'all put stuff on me and then I have to do it every year and then it all bleeds and I can't remember everything I'm doing because we have so many trainings. I'm going to be coming back with a training reduction bill next year that I hope everybody will vote for, that'll get us in a posture of surveying some of these things because some of it is really important. Like a teacher should have to do allergy training because at some point in our career, we're going to run across a student who's having an allergic reaction and we need to know what to do. That's important, okay? That's not what this bill is. This bill is about teaching students about allergies in 9th and 10th grade. But I do think we need to get curriculum and teacher training under control. I'm ready for a 40-0 vote next year on that. But this bill, just to be clear, is about teaching 9th and 10th graders about allergies.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 131, Learning Needs Dashboard, Department of Education shall continue to maintain sunset date. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. We continue on with the Senator Peake docket. This is HB. I move that HB 131 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill requires that the Department of Education maintain until July of 2029 a learning needs dashboard that includes an interactive bar chart to feature and compare the annual pass rates and a scatter plot feature to compare changes in pass rates between select years on our history and social sciences, our mathematics, reading, science, and writing standards of learning assessments, and to do so on a statewide basis as well as for specific local school divisions. This bill provides necessary information for us to understand what is happening within our individual schools as well as statewide, and I move again that we pass the bill.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 161, individuals experiencing or reporting overdoses while incarcerated, disciplinary procedures. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice.
Chair recognizes Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. Could that bill go by for the day?
Without objection, House Bill 161 Goes by for the day.
House Bill 168, Homeless Students, Department of Ed to develop a resource document on supports and services. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 168 pass. And speaking to that motion,
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. This bill requires that our Department of Education develop and make available to all school boards a resource document that contains guidance and best practices for helping our students who may be facing a crisis of homelessness. And this would include guidance and best practices relating to decisions about whether and when such a student should remain enrolled in a school in a previous school division of residence, also provide wraparound services and support for such students, and also provide other means by which students can be best served and protected, particularly those homeless children or young folks who are at risk of becoming victims of human trafficking. I hope that we will all provide support for HB 168, and I move again that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, no 0.
Ayes 39, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 187, Teachers' Process and Timeline for Increasing Salary. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health with amendments, and from the Committee on Finance and Appropriations with a substitute. There is not a committee substitute. It has been corrected on LIS, but there is a floor substitute.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator from Hanover rise?
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, after speaking to the chairman of the Finance Committee, I'd ask that this go by for the day for one of my members to confirm a piece of information.
Without objection, House Bill 187 goes by for the day.
House Bill 210, Electronic Execution of Estate Planning Documents, codifies Uniform Electronic Wills Act. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with amendment.
Chair recognizes Senator Surville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass, I guess, and speaking to that motion.
You're moving the committee amendment, sir?
I'm sorry. I'll move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is accepted. Senator Surville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill. Oh, the patron just asked me if this could go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 210 goes by for the day.
House Bill 354, Public Pools Board of Health to adopt regulations. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 354 pass, and speaking to that motion,
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, HB 354 directs our Board of Health to adopt regulations that would govern our swimming pools and other water recreational facilities that are operated for public use, including swimming pools and other recreational facilities that are operated in conjunction with a tourist facility or a health spa. That is the essence of the bill, and I move that HB 354 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 519, Unprofessional Conduct, Disciplinary Action Against Doctor for Providing Abortion Care, etc. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Surville, Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 519 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, HB 519 is identical to SB 716, which passed our Senate on a vote of 21 to 18. This bill is prohibiting the Board of Medicine from taking any disciplinary action against a doctor based on alleged provision or receipt of abortion care that is not prohibited under laws of the Commonwealth. So this bill protects our medical providers for providing the services that they are legally allowed to do by the Commonwealth of Virginia in providing abortion care. I move again that HB 519 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 571, Sexually Explicit Content Policies on Parental Notification of Instructional Material, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. HB 571 is identical to SB 235.
Your motion, Senator?
I'm sorry. I move that HB 571 pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator may continue.
HB 571 is identical to SB 235, which was my bill that we passed on the Senate floor on a vote of 22 to 18. As a reminder, we had extensive conversation about this legislation. This bill is identical to the legislation that was passed in the 2022 session, and it simply takes the enactment clause language and places it directly into legislation, saying that there is that parental notification will be made possible by school boards, but that does not indicate that the school boards can move to ban books from school libraries. That again is the bill, and I hope that we might pass HB 571.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 576, Contractors Board for Required Regulations and Disclosures, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I first move the committee substitute.
The question is, shall the substitute be accepted? Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is accepted. Senator Eben.
I now move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator may say on.
This bill is identical to SB 313, which we passed unanimously from the junior senator from Henrico. It requires a statement of disclosure to be included as a cover sheet to a written contract when involving residential rooftop solar panels. And if people want details, I could go on about what's included in that disclosure, things like total cost, any promised energy output guarantees, and most importantly, warranties for roof damage repair related to installation or removal. Again, I move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 3.
Ayes 37, noes 3. The bill passes.
House Bill 577, Slot Retention Request Developmental Disability Waiver Shots Sunset Date, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Madam President, I move that HB 577 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. HB 577 is identical to SB 610, patroned by Senator Suderline, and a bill which we passed on the Senate floor by a vote of 39-0. HB 577 directs DMAS and Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services to amend regulations to allow for support coordinators to request and subsequently obtain approval of consecutive waiver slot retention requests for a period of up to 365 calendar days for individuals who have been assigned a DD waiver. Our current regulations allow for 4 consecutive 30-day slot retention extensions, and so this provides ease for families and individuals who need that waiver. And this bill would sunset on June 30th of 2026. I move again that HB 577 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 603, Public Elementary and Secondary Schools Programs of Instruction on Mental Health Education, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Again, Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Madam President, I move that HB 603 pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Madam President, HB 603 requires health instruction to be provided to elementary and secondary school students that would include certain topics relating to mental health, and these are general themes on social and emotional learning, including self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. It also adds language for signs and symptoms of common mental health challenges, as well as instruction on mental health wellness and healthy strategies for coping with stress and negative feelings, including conflict resolution skills. Madam President, knowing the kind of crisis that so many of our students are facing, sadly, around mental health concerns, I move that this bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, no 17.
Ayes 23, no 17. The bill passes.
House Bill 609, Contraception Establishes Right to Obtain, reported from the Committee on Education and Health with a substitute.
Senator Hashmi.
Madam President, I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Hashmi.
I now move that HB 609 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. With the substitute, HB 609 is now identical to SB 237, which was my bill, focusing on the right to contraception. That bill, SB 237, passed this body on a vote of 21-19. It establishes a right to obtain contraceptive care and make sure that that is a right that is codified in Virginia, given the kind of challenges that we are seeing to contraceptive care and reproductive health care in general all around the country. I move again that HB 609 pass.
The question, Chair recognizes Senator Suderline, the senator from Roanoke.
Madam President, speak briefly to the bill.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Just like the Chair of Education and Health said, we saw her companion legislation a few days ago on this. I had the same concerns about that I do this, which is about it creating an affirmative right. I think that the best path is pursued by the Chair of Education and Health's other contraceptive bill, which seeks to actually expand the access, where we're actually making it accessible to more people. I think that is one of the best things we can do to reduce unintended pregnancies here in the Commonwealth and reduce abortion, which I think is a tragedy. So I appreciate what the senator, the chair of Ed and Health, did on the other bill, but I have concerns about creating a positive right here. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 615, Virginia STEM Education Advisory Board, Purpose and Duties Historically Underrepresented Students. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Madam President, I move that HB 615 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
Madam President, HB 615 expands the purpose of the Virginia Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics Education Advisory Board to include promoting the participation of historically underrepresented students in our primary and secondary schools in STEM education. So this bill expands the duties of the board to this additional purpose, and it increases from 16 to 23 the number of non-legislative citizens who would be members of the board, and it also provides that the 7 additional members be appointed by the chairs of these individual advisory boards that have already been established in the Commonwealth, and these are the Virginia African American Advisory Board, the Virginia Asian American Advisory Board, the Latino Advisory Board, the Council on Women, Virginia LGBTQ+ Advisory Board, the Office of New Americans Advisory Board, as well as the Virginia Board for People with Disabilities, so that we have appropriate representation on the STEM Education Advisory Board. And with that, I renew my motion that HB 615 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, noes 18.
Ayes 22, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 763, Hospital Regulations, Use of Smoke Evacuation Systems During Surgical Procedures. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Chair recognizes Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 763 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Madam President, HB 763 is identical to SB 537, which was patroned by Senator Bagby, and which we passed in the Senate on a vote of 40-0. It is a protective measure ensuring that there are smoke evacuation systems in place during surgical procedures. I think many of our offices heard from our providers and medical community about the dangers of smoke, surgical smoke, during these procedures. Again, I renew my motion that HB 763 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 781, Maternal Health Data and Quality Measures Task Force on, State Health Commissioner to reestablish. Reported from the Committee on Education and Health with an amendment, and there are 2 floor amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator Peake, the senator from Lynchburg.
Yes, Madam President, I rise to withdraw the floor amendments.
Without objection, the floor amendments are withdrawn. Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the committee amendment be agreed to.
The senator, the question is, shall the committee amendment be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. Senator Hashmi.
Madam President, I now move that HB 781 pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Madam President, HB 781 requires the Board of Health to amend its regulations to require that every hospital where surgical procedures are performed I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. This is a bill that requires that we make sure that there is provisions to address our maternal health data and quality measures, that we are responsive to the disparities that we see in maternal outcomes, and that we are gathering that data so we may address it in an appropriate manner. The amendments that we were adopted inserts that 2 individuals who are certified nurse midwives in the Commonwealth and appointed by the governor, and 2 additional individuals who are licensed certified midwives be also appointed by the governor. And that is the bill, Madam President.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 18.
Ayes 21, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 817, Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act and Manufactured Home Lot Rental Act, retaliatory conduct, reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Chair recognizes Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass. And speaking to that motion,
the senator has the floor.
The bill has to do with retaliatory actions prohibited against tenants, and includes things like allowing a tenant to organize with a tenant organization or complain to a landlord or news outlet about violations of the lease or the law without facing retaliation, like selectively decreasing services for the tenant. I renew my motion. The bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 23, noes 17.
Ayes 23, no 17. The bill passes.
House Bill 832, Arts, Virginia Commission for the Arts reduces membership, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Senator Hashmi.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that HB 832 pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Madam President, HB 832 is identical to SB 530, patroned by Senator Jordan, which passed our body on a vote of 40-0. It simply reduces the membership of the Virginia Commission for the Arts from 13 members to 9 members, and requires that at least 1 member be appointed from each of the 8 superintendents' regions. And I renew my motion that HB 832 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The bill passes.
House Bill 919, School Boards, Model Memorandum of Understanding Partnerships with Certain Mental Health Services, reported from the Committee on Education and Health.
Again, Senator Hashmi, the senator from Chesterfield.
Madam President, I move that HB 919 pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator has the floor.
Madam President, HB 919 directs the department in consult with Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services, as well as DMAS, to develop and adopt and share with each school board a model memorandum of understanding between a school board and a nationally recognized school-based telehealth provider that sets forth the parameters for the provision of mental health teletherapy to public school students. So in essence, we are asking our VDOE to develop a model MOU that our school boards may use in order to expand options for telehealth services to our students in Virginia. That's the nature of the bill, and I move that HB 919 pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 39, noes 1.
Ayes 39, noes 1. The bill passes.
House Bill 993, Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, prohibited provisions, fees for maintenance. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with a substitute.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Eben?
With the substitute we just adopted, HB 993 is now identical.
Your motion, Senator?
Move the bill pass. Speak to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
With the substitute we just adopted, HB 993 is now identical to my SB 422, which prohibits landlords from requiring tenants to pay fees when they pay rent in order to pay rent, unless it includes an alternative method to pay rent that does not include additional fees, and also fees for requesting normal maintenance or repair of the unit. Again, I renew my motion. The bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 22, noes 18.
Ayes 22, noes 18. The bill passes.
House Bill 1178, Commonwealth of Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority amends membership of Board of Directors. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
Thank you. I move HB 1178 pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
HB 1178 grows the membership of the Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority Board from 11 to 15 members, and it also adds a prohibition on board members from investing personal funds in any venture capital activity supported by the authority itself. I renew my motion. The bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 24, noes 16.
Ayes 24, noes 16. The bill passes.
House Bill 1207, Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, Affordable Housing, Criminal Record Screening Model Policy. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendments.
Senator Eben.
I move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The committee amendments are agreed to. Senator Eben.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
Senator may continue.
HB 1207 adopts some model policies or requires adoption of model policies from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development regarding conducting criminal background checks on tenants for consistency and non-discrimination purposes. The Act requires that it would require that conducting background checks would be done consistently, performing them on all, not on some, based on stereotypes and fear, and would consider individuals on a case-by-case basis and evaluate the nature and severity of the crime and consider the length of time that has passed since the crime was committed before making a determination.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 1251, Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, Material Noncompliance by Landlord, Court Escrow Account. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology.
Again, Senator Eben, the senator from Alexandria.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
The Virginia Residential Landlord-Tenant Act requires that landlords maintain safe and habitable rental properties. However, under current statute, tenants cannot file a suit if they're behind on rent, regardless of how much they owe. This essentially denies tenants access to the court system, which can allow a landlord to continue collecting rent while avoiding accountability for failing to provide safe and habitable housing. This allows the tenants to have standing.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 21, noes 19.
Ayes 21, noes 19. The bill passes.
House Bill 1337, Board of Accountancy Powers and Duties repeals requirement for an annual audit of the board. Reported from the Committee on General Laws and Technology with amendments.
Again, Senator Eben.
I move the committee amendments.
The question is, shall the committee amendments be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The amendments are agreed to. Senator Eben.
I move the bill pass, and speaking to that motion.
The senator has the floor.
HB 1337 deals with the operations, powers, and duties of the Board of Accountancy and specifies that the Board of Accountancy fall under the Secretary of Finance. There are amendments clarifying the definitions related to the accountancy profession, including the scope of attest services, compilation services, and the conditions under which a firm can provide those services within Virginia. The bill specifies timeframes within complaints against CPAs or CPA firms must be filed, ensuring the board addresses them in a timely manner while also providing a fair window for the submission of grievances. I renew my motion that the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 3.
Ayes 37, noes 3. The bill passes.
House Bill 1396.
For what purpose does the senator from Roanoke rise?
Madam President, so that the Chair of General Laws can come back real quick, I would just ask that we reconsider House Bill 1178 and the vote by which we passed it.
The question is, shall the vote by which House Bill 1178 passed be reconsidered? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, noes 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The vote is reconsidered. Senator Eben.
Move the bill pass, and speaking to the motion.
The senator has the floor.
As previously explained, HB 1178 deals with the Virginia Innovation Partnership Authority Board growing the membership and adding a prohibition on members having a conflict of interest. I move the bill
Madam
pass.
President.
The chair recognizes the senator from Rockingham.
Will Senator from Alexandria rise for a question?
Will Senator Eben yield for a question?
I yield.
Senator yields. Senator Obenchain has the floor.
Madam President, I would ask, am I correct that this bill gives the House more appointees than the Senate?
Senator Eben has the floor.
Yes, the Senate would have 3 appointees from the Rules Committee, and the Speaker of the House of Delegates would have 5 appointees.
Madam President,
Senator Obenchain.
Madam President, I would ask, why? Why would
Will the
we
senator
do that?
from Alexandria yield for a question? Will the senator from Alexandria yield?
I yield.
The senator yields. Senator Obenchain.
Why?
Senator Eben has the floor.
Well, these are legislative appointees. I didn't write the bill, but sometimes sometimes we allow the House, which is more numerous than us, to have more appointees, and I guess this is one of those cases that's proposed.
Madam President, speaking of the bill briefly,
Senator Obenshain has the floor.
I don't know. It's kind of late in the session, but I feel like it's never too late to stand up for the Senate's prerogative, and I think we shouldn't start standing down to the House delegates right now.
The senator from Arlington, Senator Favola.
Thank you, Madam President. Will the senator from Alexandria rise for a question?
Will the senator from Alexandria rise and yield?
I yield.
The senator has risen.
Thank you, Madam
Senator from Arlington has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Usually, if we have a different number of delegates or senators, we usually have a requirement that a majority of the Senate appointees or the House appointees have to agree before something is passed for recommendation. Is that in here?
Senator from Alexandria.
I don't know if it's in here. I'm going to ask that the bill go by for the day.
Without objection, House Bill 1178 goes by for the day.
Turning to page 39, uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading. Oops, sorry, one more on regular calendar. House Bill 1396, a bill relating to days of operation of clerk's offices, clerk's authority to close office. Reported from the Committee for Courts of Justice with a substitute.
Chair recognizes Senator Soroville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
I move the committee substitute.
Question is, shall the substitute be agreed to? Those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The substitute is agreed to. Senator Soroville.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the bill pass and speaking to that motion.
The senator may continue.
Thank you, Madam President. And I just want to thank the senator from Charlottesville for casting a yellow vote, forcing me to have to explain this momentous bill that allows the clerks to close their office when they want to. That's what it does. I hope move the bill pass.
The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. The senator is ready to vote. Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 37, noes 2.
Ayes 37, noes 2, R 36, 1. The bill passes.
Page 39, uncontested calendar, House bills on second reading.
Does she want to change? Change?
Madam.
Just 1 second.
Madam President.
Senator Soroville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that all the House bills on second reading on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 39 through 47, House Bill 114 through 1110, that the rules be suspended and the second constitutional reading of the titles be dispensed with.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars, pages 39 through 47, House Bill 114 through House Bill 1110, be dispensed with? All in favor of the motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The reading of the titles is dispensed with. Senator Soroville.
Madam President, I would move that all the House bills now on third reading go by for the day.
The question is, shall the House bills on the uncontested and regular calendars now on third reading go by for the day? All in favor of that motion will say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills will go by for the day.
Uncontested calendar, House joint resolutions on second reading.
Senator Soroville, the senator from Eastern Fairfax County.
Madam President, I move all the House joint resolutions on second reading on the uncontested calendar, pages 47 through 51, HJR 6 through HJR 87, that the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles be waived.
The question is, shall the rules be suspended and the second reading of the titles of the House Joint Resolutions on the uncontested and regular calendar, pages 47 through 51, House Joint Resolution 6 through House Joint Resolution 87 be waived? All in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Does any senator desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 40, no 0.
Ayes 40, no 0. The reading of the titles is waived. Senator Saravel.
Madam President, I move that all of the House joint resolutions now on their third reading go by for the day.
The question is, shall the House joint resolutions on the uncontested calendar now on third reading go by for the day? All in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolutions will go by for the day. Senator Saravel.
Inquiry of the clerk. Does that complete today's calendar?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Senator Rouse, the junior senator from Virginia Beach.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise for personal point privilege.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Ladies and gentlemen of our Senate, we have been doing work now for a number of weeks, and I want to call to your attention a piece of legislation that we all agreed on, a piece of legislation that passed this body 40-0. A piece of legislation that reported from the Committee of Education and Health 15-0. And a piece of legislation that reported from the formidable Finance and Appropriations Committee 15-0. That piece of legislation was SB 181. It is the Public Elementary and Secondary Schools Cardiac Emergency Response Plan. That bill required each public elementary or secondary school to develop a cardiac emergency response plan that addresses the appropriate use of school personnel to respond to incidents involving an individual who is experiencing sudden cardiac arrest or similar life-threatening emergency while on school grounds. And in the event that such school has an athletic department or organized athletic program while attending or participating in an athletic practice or event, this bill also requires that each cardiac emergency response plan to be integrated nationally by nationally recognized evidence-based core elements such as those recommended by the American Heart Association guidelines, and to integrate certain provisions and guidelines, including those relating to establishing a cardiac emergency response team, activating such team in a response to a sudden cardiac arrest, and integrating that cardiac emergency response plan into the local community's emergency medical services response protocol. Ladies and gentlemen, tragic news has struck the city of Newport News. Just last week, a Mansfield High School student that was 16 years old by the name of Kalia Jones, she died after suffering a medical emergency at school. Jones had a heart condition called bradycardia, which is an abnormally slow heartbeat, and she was at school when she passed out. It's reported that she did not receive life-saving care for 9 minutes. For 9 minutes. A spokesperson from the Newport News public schools responded that each administrators and teachers are required to be CPR certified and that school security officers are also trained. They said there are at least 3 AEDs at each high school in the district. So I'm asking you today what was missing. A plan. A cardiac emergency response plan. And perhaps if this legislation would have been a year earlier, this young lady will be with us today. I want to thank you all for passing this unanimously out this body, because although we could not save Kalia Jones today, this will help prevent the loss of future life in the event of sudden cardiac emergencies in schools. And so with that, Madam Clerk, Madam President, I ask that we will adjourn in her honor. Thank you.
Thank the senator. Is there any other business to come before the Senate? The clerk will.
Madam President.
For what purpose does the senator, senior senator from?
For an announcement.
The senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a House Bill 496, which I'm advised needs to be heard at my desk to refer that to Finance. It's a revenue bill, and it must meet the deadline. So we have a very brief meeting here to get that off to Finance. It would be appreciated. So members, gather around.
Senator Boysko, the senator from Northern Fairfax County.
Thank you, Madam President. The Transportation Committee also needs to have a brief meeting at my desk to move a bill that also needs to go to Finance. So as soon as all the members of Ag and Natural Resources is completed with theirs, if you're on the Transportation Committee, you'd join me at my desk. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Today, Monday, February 26th, the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources will meet immediately upon adjournment at the chair's desk to take up a bill. The Committee on Transportation will meet immediately upon adjournment of the Committee on Agriculture, Conservation, and Natural Resources at the chair's desk to take up a bill. The Committee on Commerce and Labor will meet 15 minutes after adjournment, Senate Room A. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Economic Development and Natural Resources will not meet. The Northern Virginia delegation will meet at 5 p.m. in House Room 1 in the Capitol. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on General Government will meet tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. in the Senate Finance and Appropriations Room. Senators Surville, Marsden, Eben, McPike, and Pillion. The Finance and Appropriations Subcommittee on Resources will meet at 7:30 a.m. Senate Room A. Senators Lucas, Deeds, Locke, and McDougall. The Committee on Finance and Appropriations will meet at 9 a.m. Senate Room A. And the Republican caucus will meet at 11:15 a.m. Senate Room 2. The Democratic caucus will meet at 11:30 a.m. in Senate Room 1.
Chair calls on Senator Lucas, the senator from Portsmouth.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move that the Senate do now adjourn until 12 noon tomorrow, and that we do it in memory of Kalia Jones, 16-year-old high school student at Mitchellville.
The question is, shall the Senate adjourn until 12 noon tomorrow in memory of Kalia Jones? Those in favor of that motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. The Senate stands adjourned in memory of Kalia Jones.